You know, what fascinates me is that you're the second entomologist I've spoken to. What I'm seeing is that you refer to soil health in some of your treatises, the work that you publish. So I'm kind of fascinated by this link between entomology and soil health. Would you mind unpacking that a little bit for me? I mean, why, as an entomologist, did you become interested in soil health as one of your philosophies and approaches to dealing with pest insects?
There are a lot of examples where we use pesticides extensively. If a good example, I guess you could put insects in agriculture into two categories, that are imported and the others that are indigenous. So for the indigenous ones, then if you have high levels of nitrogen, that drives the population of harmful insects. They're looking for nitrogen. And so
and how do we know that they're looking for nitrogen? Is this
well,
just observational, or is this through specific scientific study?
Yeah, it's physiological studies. We know that that's the weak part of their life cycle, is getting enough nitrogen for protein buildup in muscles and so on. So they have a lot of evolutionary adaptations that help them get enough nitrogen. One, which entomologists have noted for years, is that the harmful insects are attracted to high cotton, for example, and because they give off 100 different chemicals in the headspace, and insects are extremely sensitive to finding molecules in the atmosphere. So that leads them to the high cotton. And so once they spray, then most chemicals are non-selective.
Yeah.
So we kill the beneficials as well as the harmful ones, and then we're on a negative feedback system and have to keep spraying through the season in order not to have an insect population that's bad.
So in other words, you're saying to me that in some systems, if you start on one particular pesticides, you're essentially hooked for the rest of the season.
That's right.
Okay, all right, that's...
So if we have a introduced species like boll weevil, pink bollworm, alfalfa weevil, and so on, and don't have a good beneficial complex, then we almost have to spray those. For the indigenous ones, there are a lot of ways that we can avoid sprays, not putting on so much nitrogen, for example. Yeah, generally, if you have a good complex of beneficials, if they're indigenous, they're here and they've evolved for hundreds of thousands of years.
Yep.
But if they're introduced from someplace else, very often we just introduce the bad guys.
Okay.
So then that's what I did for years, was look for beneficials from, if we can locate where a harmful species came from, then we can go there and get the beneficials and introduce them.
Yeah, okay.
So pink bollworm, for example, came from Western Australia.
Yes.
And went probably to Indonesia, India, down to central Mexico and up to the United States and across the southern states, Texas to New Mexico, Arizona, California. Yeah.